I'm Nate Coulter, and I am here on behalf of libraries. I represent the Central Arkansas Library System. We have libraries in Jacksonville, Maumelle, Sherwood, Perryville. We have a library in Perry County, so we span from Perry County down to Wrightsville, back up to Jacksonville, and we have 14 branches. Some of those are in Little Rock. And I just want to add an angle that I don't think anyone has considered. We, by the way, libraries generally operate with some money that the state provides to the state-aided libraries, a portion of our budget, but the vast portion of it comes from ad valorem taxes, from property taxes. So we're not ever on the ballot asking for a sales tax. And what I want to add is that I think we're in a unique position. I want to tell you why. If you impose a restriction on when libraries can have special elections, what you do to us is put us in a context where Mr. Ray called casual voters. Those casual voters show up at general elections and in primaries. Sometimes they don't show up for primaries, as we know, they're much more likely to turn out in general election. And our problem is we're happy, because I think the library is the essence of local government, we're happy to have everybody show up. If we can communicate what we're doing with everybody, we think people will support us. We don't ask lightly, and we think when we ask we can justify what we need, and we often get that. We passed it in a general election in Sherwood 2014, an increase in property taxes to build a new library in Sherwood. Our problem is that if those casual voters are swamping the rest of the voters, we can't get through to them, and this is why, because we don't have the kind of firepower to communicate in a general election. We'll be competing with all of you guys. We'll be competing with federal and state-wide elections. We'll be competing with initiatives on the ballot, constitutional amendments, and every one of those campaigns will have more money than the library will. We had a millage campaign here 2 summers ago, where what we were doing is asking the voters in Little Rock to lower their millage. We were going to refinance some bonds. We were going to push out the debt for a few years, lower the millage. We needed to raise about $30,000 to communicate with people, just to tell them about what we're trying to do. We're lowering your taxes, asking for an extension of the debt. We'll get more money because the bond interest rate would be lower. That took $30,000, and the problem is if we're trying to do that in a general election, it's going to take 3, 4, 5 times that. And that has to come from supporters of the library. We can't use any taxpayer money for that. So we're out there trying to compete with the people who are running for governor or attorney general or Congress or president. And it's just extremely difficult to get through to the casual voter what the issue is. And if you don't communicate to them, you don't get a message to them to tell them we're trying to increase, add books and downloadables and meeting rooms, they're going to reflexively vote no, we fear. So if you can help us figure out how we can raise money to compete in a campaign season where there's an awful lot of activity on television, radio, newspapers, everywhere else, we mostly rely on direct mail, and it's expensive. And we're raising money from people who generally don't have a lot of money to give to campaigns. That's the nature of our constituency, primarily in libraries. So it'll have an impact. It'll have a big impact if we can only ask for voters to support us in a general election or a primary season, because we just have such a hard time getting our message out. So I would ask you to think about not imposing that on the library. It's a tax, in effect, on library users, because they're going to be the people who we have to go to try to get contributions, to try to be able to compete in a context where there are a lot more casual voters. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions from the committee? I actually have one. Is a tax increase for the library more important than the state house race?
No, I think they're all important. I always show up in my precinct and I'm always disappointed that I don't know, when I'm asked to vote for Big Rock Constable, that I hadn't done enough homework to figure out who those candidates are. They're all important. It's on me. The library is important, the state house is important, the federal legislature, it's all important. We just don't have the capacity to raise campaign contribution money the way people running for the Senate or the state legislature do.
I don't know, it'd be an interesting question, but I would poll the people who are sitting here in this committee, how many of them actually raised in the first campaign more than 30 grand? I'd have to say most of us probably never raised I said that Jim Dotson did a good job in Dayton County, raised a bunch of money, but outside of that, most of us, 30 grand is a pretty good amount of money to raise, and we're stuck running at the same time in a general election. So, the question is, what we have to do is we've got to go out and appeal to all the voters and let all of the voters know what's going on. It would be nice if I could actually schedule my election when I wanted to, and that way I could only have my supporters come out and vote for me. It'd be cheaper for me to run my campaign, and I'd be more successful time and time again. But you can see how that's a little bit of a, when you say that you want to be able to try to narrow it down to make it cheaper and make it where there's only a select group of people who actually come out and vote, you can see how that would be, I think everybody, wouldn't you say every voter or every person who's running for office or has an election would like to have that same benefit?
No, we don't get